Elara thought her life was a fairy tale when she married Finn, the man she adored. But soon, she began to question if their love was as authentic as it seemed. The whispers of her mysterious new maid, Zara, led her down a path of uncovering dark secrets that would shatter her world. You won't believe what happens next. If you had passed Elara Sterling on the bustling streets of Seoul, you would have never guessed who she really was. Calm and graceful, she carried herself like any other professional woman, having perfected the art of blending in. She wasn't one for flashy jewelry or a fleet of luxury cars. Yet, her father, Mr. Sterling, was one of the wealthiest men in the country, a billionaire industrialist whose name alone commanded respect. Elara grew up in a world of immense wealth, but her father raised her with a firm belief in humility and hard work. He forbade spoiling her or giving her a sense of entitlement. Elara embraced this life, content to live quietly. She attended regular private schools, drove a simple sedan, and never used her father's influence to get ahead. After graduating at the top of her class from a prestigious university, her father called her into his study. He sat behind a large mahogany desk, his fingers drumming on the polished wood. "Elara, it's time," he said in his deep, firm voice. "Come and take over as CEO of Sterling Enterprises." Elara, dressed in a simple blouse and trousers, stood with her arms folded. "Father, I'm not ready. I want to gain some real-world experience first." Her father frowned. "What are you talking about? You've been trained for this your entire life." But Elara was unyielding. "I know, but please, let me work my way up. I want to build my own skills and prove myself. I don't want people to see me as a spoiled heiress who was just handed everything." Her father sighed. He knew his daughter was stubborn, but he also saw her point. "Fine, have it your way," he finally said, waving a hand in dismissal. "But remember who you are." And so, Elara Sterling became an intern at her family's company, hiding her true identity. She earned a regular salary and sat at an ordinary desk. No one knew she was the sole heir to the Sterling fortune. It was there that she met Finn Park. He was tall, handsome, and impeccably dressed. The women in the office often whispered his name, but Finn was never arrogant. He carried himself with a quiet confidence and focused on his work. On Elara's first day, she fumbled with the photocopy machine, nearly tearing a stack of important documents. "Hello," Finn said, walking over with a small smile and his sleeves rolled up. "Let me show you how it's done." Elara laughed nervously. That simple moment sparked the beginning of their relationship. Finn patiently taught her the basics, and soon their friendship blossomed. Their connection grew over shared lunch breaks, whispered office gossip, and eventually, quiet dates outside of work. A few months into their relationship, Elara knew she couldn't keep her secret any longer. One evening, she invited Finn to a small, unpretentious restaurant where she felt comfortable. Her heart pounded as he arrived. She took a deep breath. "There's something I need to tell you," she began, her voice trembling slightly. Finn leaned in, concerned. "What is it?" "My father owns Sterling Enterprises," she confessed. "I'm not just an intern. I'm the only heir." For a moment, Finn was silent. Elara's stomach twisted with dread. But then, he smiled and reached for her hand across the table. "It doesn't change anything," he said quietly. "I love you just the same." Elara let out a slow breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Tears welled in her eyes. In that moment, she truly believed he was genuine. A few months later, Finn proposed during a private dinner on the Sterling family yacht. Elara said yes without hesitation. When Elara told her father, he wasn't thrilled. "Bring him to me," he said simply. Finn arrived at the Sterling estate in a sharp black suit. Afterward, Mr. Sterling called Elara into his study. "There's just something about him that bothers me," he said slowly. "Father, we started dating before he knew who I was," she countered. "He didn't chase me for my money. I trust him. Have I ever made the wrong decision before? Her father stared at her for a long time before finally nodding. Fine, but on one condition. You must take Zara with you after you're married. But I don't need a maid, Elara protested. I want to spend time alone with my husband. That is my condition, her father insisted. You take Zara with you, or I won't bless this marriage. Elara argued, begged, and reasoned, but her father wouldn't budge. In the end, she relented. A few months later, Elara and Finn were married in a small, intimate ceremony. Her father gifted them a lavish mansion on the island and officially retired, handing over the CEO position to Elara. As they moved into their new home, everything felt perfect. They seemed like the dream couple, and quietly, without a fuss, Zara moved in with them. For the first few weeks, Elara was blissfully happy. She woke up beside the man she believed was her answered prayer, sharing quiet dinners and comfortable silences. But soon, the silence became too loud. Month after month, Elara noticed something was wrong. She wasn't getting pregnant. Her period was an unwelcome monthly visitor. She tried everything: supplements, doctor visits, and traditional remedies. Nothing worked. One evening, Elara sat in the living room, staring blankly at the TV. The mansion felt too big, too empty. That's when Zara approached. "Ma'am," she said gently, "please pay attention before it's too late." Elara blinked slowly. "What did you say?" Zara lowered her voice. "Things are happening in this house that you don't know about. Open your eyes and your ears." Elara frowned. "What is that supposed to mean, Zara?" Zara sighed. "I can't say much. I see things. Be careful with your husband. Be vigilant." Elara's heart pounded. "Are you trying to accuse my husband of something? How dare you?" She shot up from the couch. "Are you jealous of my marriage?" Zara bowed her head. "Ma'am, I will not say what my eyes and ears haven't seen. Be careful." Elara felt her hands shake. She grabbed her phone and called her father. "Are you using her to spy on me? I want her out of my home now." Her father's voice was calm but final. "If you send her away, Elara, you lose your inheritance." That evening, Elara waited until she and Finn were in their bedroom. "Babe, I don't keep secrets from you," she said, folding her arms. "Zara said something ridiculous today." "What did she say?" Finn asked, pulling off his tie. "That I should be careful, that things are happening in this house." Finn's expression changed. "Let's send her away. She's dangerous." Elara shook her head. "We can't. I made a deal with my dad. If I send her away, we lose everything, the company, the house, everything." Finn's jaw clenched, and he turned away without another word. Elara noticed the quiet shift, the mood darkening. From that night on, Finn became colder towards Zara. He would insult her randomly, calling her a stupid maid. "You will leave this house one day," he snapped one morning as she polished his shoes. "Clean the shoes properly and stop meddling in my marriage." Zara kept her head down, saying nothing. One evening, Elara was upstairs working late. Finn came downstairs, heading to the kitchen for a bottle of water. Zara was cooking dinner. Finn entered, saw her, and hissed in annoyance. Zara continued stirring as if she hadn't noticed him. Then, she turned slowly. "Sir," she said. Finn's irritation was sharp. "What?" "I know about your plans." "What plans? What are you talking about, you stupid maid?" Zara didn't look afraid. "I know about the Grand Palace Hotel, room 403. Next Saturday, 12:45 p.m. Silence dropped like a stone. Finn's throat tightened. "Excuse me? Are you going through my phone?" "No, sir. I saw it in my dreams." I don't touch what doesn't belong to me. Be careful, sir. Ma'am loves you. Whatever you're playing, stop it before it's too late. What are you talking about? Finn's voice shook the walls. How dare you accuse me of something? Zara bowed her head again. I'm sorry, sir. I'm just saying what I saw. Finn stormed out of the kitchen, his pulse racing. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he paced in his private office. Grand Palace Hotel, room 403. No one knew except him and his best friend. He had made sure to delete all their chats. How did Zara know? Who was this woman? That night, Finn lay beside Alara, his eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. Sleep refused to come. At midnight, he quietly slipped out of the room and locked himself in his office. He dialed a number. We need to move fast, he whispered urgently. Before everything blows up in our face. A few days later, the tension in the mansion had grown. Alara noticed the shift in the air. The easy smiles and long conversations were gone. She brushed it off until Zara approached her again. It was a bright Monday morning. Alara was already in her sharp navy blue suit, sitting behind the wheel of her Mercedes. She had just started the engine when she saw Zara standing by her window. Ma'am, please don't be offended, Zara said quietly. Be careful what you do this period. If anyone gives you documents to sign, please check them carefully. Observe the people around you. Alara gave her an irritated look. Zara, I'm late for work. I don't have time for this nonsense. Make sure dinner's ready when I get back. Without waiting for a response, she sped off. That same week, Finn came home carrying a thick brown file. His mood was light. Alara was lounging in the living room when he dropped the file on the table. Babe, he said smoothly. If we invest $1 billion, we'll get $5 billion back in 6 to 12 months. It's a cryptocurrency deal, limited slots only. We need to jump on it quickly. Alara picked up the file, flipping through the pages. Everything looked professionally stamped and sealed. But as she stared at the documents, Zara's words echoed in her mind. Her hands suddenly felt heavy. Are you sure this is legitimate? Alara asked slowly. Yes, babe, 100%. Finn replied with his charming smile. My friend already cashed out. I wouldn't lie to you. Alara pressed her lips together and dropped the file into a drawer beside her. I'll sign it after I see the gynecologist. My cramps are back. Cramps again. Finn frowned but then shrugged. Alright, babe. But don't take too long. The deadline is almost up. The next morning, Alara went to her doctor. After a routine checkup, the doctor sat her down. You are medically okay, Mrs. Sterling, he said gently. So is your husband. Sometimes, these things just take time. Doctor, why can't I get pregnant? Alara asked, her voice tight. It's been almost a year. The doctor gave a small, understanding smile. Be patient, my dear. The babies will come. That day, Alara sat in her car in the hospital parking lot, her forehead pressed against the steering wheel, crying until her tears dried. When she returned home, Zara was mopping the living room floor. As Alara entered, Zara straightened up, her eyes glistening with quiet knowing. Ma'am, Zara said softly. I know you just came from the hospital. I know you're worried about not conceiving. It's not your fault. Alara's heart clenched. Zara, what are you talking about now? If you have something to say, say it. Stop playing games. Ma'am, I'm not playing games, Zara said, looking directly at her. You have refused to listen before, but please listen now. Check the orange pills your husband takes every night, the ones in your bathroom cabinet. Take them to a lab. That's where your answers lie. Alara stared in shock. Did you go into my room? Did you go through my things? No, ma'am, Zara replied calmly. I don't touch what isn't mine. Without another word, Elara walked straight upstairs. Her mind was a battlefield. Was Zara crazy, or was there something she was truly missing? Sitting on her bed, her eyes landed on the bathroom. The orange pills, her mind whispered. The next morning, after Finn left for work, Elara quietly entered the bathroom, opened the cabinet, and took the bottle of orange pills labeled men's vitamins. Her hands shook as she placed it in her handbag. She drove to a private lab, handed the pills over for analysis, and returned home as if nothing was wrong. That entire day, she watched Finn like a hawk. Memories played back in her head, Finn asking to be promoted to CFO, Finn asking for a brand new car, Finn asking her to promote his cousin. And the late nights. How many times had she woken up to find his side of the bed empty? Where is this man again by midnight, she muttered to herself one night. Does he have midnight office hours? One evening, Finn came home with multiple shopping bags. I bought bikinis, lingerie, and beautiful gowns, he said proudly. We're going on a yacht cruise to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. My treat. Elara smiled faintly, but her heart was racing. The next evening, Finn's patience snapped. Elara, he said sharply, dropping the crypto file on the table again. Sign this thing now. The deadline is almost over. Elara stood her ground. Let me check the validity of this deal first, she said firmly. 1 billion won is no small amount to invest. Besides, my father is still the president of this company, he has the ultimate power. Finn's eyes flared. Why are you delaying? Before she could answer, he grabbed his car keys and stormed out. Elara sat on the bed, her heart pounding, torn between pleasing her husband and following her instincts. That's when Zara entered. Ma'am, she said in a voice that sent chills down Elara's spine. I know you're planning to go on a vacation on an island. If you go on that trip, you will not return alive. Elara's hands clutched the bedsheet. What do you mean this time? What are you saying? You will drown, ma'am, Zara said steadily. You will return to your father as a corpse. Fear gripped Elara's chest. Why are you doing this to me? Zara stepped closer. If you want answers, follow your husband now. Without a second thought, Elara grabbed her car keys and slipped into her slippers. Her heart hammered in her chest as she tailed Finn's car from a safe distance. The drive took them past familiar streets, past his friend's place, until he turned into a part of town Elara didn't recognize. Finn pulled into a luxurious bungalow hidden behind high walls. Elara parked at a distance, cut the engine, and slipped out of the car. Her breathing was shaky as she moved closer to the house, hugging the shadows. She found a slightly open window and crept up to it. At first, she heard nothing but the low hum of a fridge. Then, 2 male voices. She leaned closer, her heart thudding in her ears. I'm tired of being the side piece, one voice said bitterly. We've been together for over 10 years, yet I still can't have you to myself. I'm always the second option. Elara's eyes widened. She recognized that voice. Then Finn's voice responded, calm and venomous. Be patient, babe. I don't love her. I married her for the money. Once she signs the deal, we'll disappear. I've been taking contraceptives. Elara covered her mouth, her stomach twisting with nausea. Tears sprang to her eyes, but she forced them back, listening even harder. We're going on a vacation this week, Finn continued, his voice gentle in a way he had never spoken to her. Everything will be set. I'll get all I need from her and get rid of her. By Monday, we'll be rich and in Canada, enjoying our lives. Then I can love you openly. Elara bit down on her own tongue to stop herself from crying out loud. Zara had been right all along. But as if that wasn't enough, she caught the other man's face through the window. It was Finn's so-called cousin, the same one she had promoted to director, the same one who had been the best man at her wedding. Her legs nearly gave out. After what felt like an eternity, Elara tiptoed back to her car, locked the doors, and broke down in tears. The drive home was a blur. When she got there, she fell onto the floor of her room, sobbing until her body shook. "Ma'am, are you okay?" Zara knocked softly. "I'm here if you need anything." But Elara couldn't answer. Hours later, when she had no more tears, she stood up on shaky legs and walked to her home office. With trembling fingers, she called her lawyer. "Draft divorce papers now," she said, her voice raw. Her email pinged, and she saw the lab results. The pills were indeed contraceptives. Her phone rang again. It was her private investigator. "Ma'am," he said, "that document your husband gave you is a fraud. If you had signed it, all your assets would have been transferred." Elara couldn't take it anymore. She called her father. "Father, you were right about Finn," she whispered. "Okay," was all he said before hanging up. That night, Elara lay in bed, her eyes wide open. Around midnight, Finn returned, slipping into bed beside her as if nothing had happened. He didn't know she knew everything. The next morning, a loud knock on the front door startled everyone. Zara opened it. In came Mr. Sterling, 2 police cars behind him, along with lawyers and men in black suits. The living room was suddenly full. Finn stumbled downstairs in his boxers, confused. "What's going on?" he asked. Elara came downstairs slowly, holding the divorce papers. Her eyes were red, but there were no tears left. She handed him the papers calmly. "Please sign. I no longer wish to be married to you." Finn's face contorted in panic. "Babe, what are you talking about?" "I no longer wish to continue in your lies and deceit," Elara said clearly. "I know everything about the crypto deal. And about your special cousin." Finn froze. "Babe, it's not what you think. I followed you," Elara's voice broke. "I heard everything." Her father stepped forward, his voice booming. "Young man, sign that document before I have you arrested for fraud." With shaking hands, Finn picked up the pen. As soon as he finished, Mr. Sterling pointed at him. "Officers, arrest this man for fraud, for cheating, for breaking my daughter's heart. Get him off my property this instant." The police grabbed Finn by the arms as he struggled weakly. The dream marriage Elara had believed in came crashing down. As the police took Finn away, Elara's legs gave out, and she collapsed. Her father pulled her into a firm hug. "I'm here for you, princess," he whispered. Elara cried until she had no tears left. "Father, I'm sorry," she said, her voice raw. "I don't blame you," he replied. "I blame him." As they were talking, the sound of luggage wheels echoed from the hallway. Elara turned and saw Zara walking into the living room, a quiet, peaceful smile on her face. "Zara, are you going somewhere?" Elara asked, standing up quickly. Zara nodded calmly. "Yes, ma'am. I'm leaving. My work here is done." "Please stay," Elara pleaded. "You saved me. You saved my life. Please stay with me." She turned to her father. "Father, please help me beg her to stay." But Mr. Sterling only smiled gently. "You cannot tell her to stay or go, princess. She comes and goes as she pleases." Zara set down her bags and gave Elara a small hug. "I will keep in touch," she said softly. And with that, she picked up her bags and walked out the front door. The sun was rising, casting a golden light as she disappeared down the driveway. A few weeks later, Finn was charged in court. The case made headlines across Seoul. During the hearing, all the dirty secrets came out. Finn had siphoned millions from Elara's company accounts into Swiss bank accounts, and properties were bought under fake names. His so-called cousin had run away the moment news of Finn's arrest hit the streets. The judge's verdict was sharp and clear: 20 years in prison for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. Elara sat in the courtroom, dressed in a black power suit, her face expressionless. But inside, she felt a deep sense of closure. Weeks after the trial, she returned to work. When she walked through the glass doors of Sterling Enterprises, all eyes turned. Staff whispered, but Elara didn't lower her gaze. Her head was held high, her step steady. "I am the victim, not the culprit," she told herself. She took a deep breath as she sat behind her desk, ready to pick up the pieces of her life. As she gazed out the large office window at the Seoul skyline, she smiled faintly. "I will love again if love comes knocking," she whispered. "For now, I will make the most of this second chance." And with that, the billionaire's hidden heiress began her new beginning.